Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the big old, wide old spinning globe called Earth. My name's Jade. This is How to App on iOS. It's Monday here in Australia. We live in the future. I hope you're all enjoying your Sunday. And we hit 1,000, baby. So, yeah, welcome to the show. Hey, how you all going? It's rare that I get on camera for a Monday, but you know, it is a very special occasion, I guess, so hope you're all doing well. If you're watching this on Facebook, you can leave a comment, you can chat over there, we'll see it over here at YouTube. You can always come over to youtube.com/JadeStarr and check out the show live with all the people in the chat here. Also, you can jump onto How to App on iOS.com and you can watch it live there and interact with us as well. Also, you can catch up on playlist shows, all that kind of jazz. But today we're going to kick off with your friend and my friend, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, the man of the hour, it's Pete Johns. Welcome aboard, Pete.
Hi, Mug. Hi, Jade. How you doing? 1,000. That's amazing. Can we get a? I know that the chat are already clapping it up, but we can get some Men at Work style golf claps for Jade and 1,000 subscribers. Yeah, welcome to the world of 1K. And how's it feeling? How you finding things? What's been your experience in the last few days since you hit the milestone?
Well, I still woke up and I was a tranny. Nothing much has changed. No, really. So thank you very much for that. And thank you everybody in the chat who's here today and everybody who supported the channel. Like, not much has changed, but we'll get into the excitement, like what happened on the Friday night. I should say hello to folks too. So we've got, let's do all this. Say hello to people. SM Borthwick, Andy Goldsby, Tom Rochelle, Scott, Russ, Deep Gravity, Cold Acre. I can see you in the chat there too as well. Did I say Gary Hubbs? Oh man, I always do this. Gino Therese, Valium, hello. Patrick Chandler, Robert Latzer, yes. Stu Cash, Rock Hard Music, Andy Goldsby, and Rick Lisk. Hello, Rick, how are you? Lady Rodeline, Ed Zielinski, you know what I'm waiting for. I'm looking for it. I'm looking for Paul. G'day, Paul. How are you? I'm not saying Benedict Stewart, Mark Tanner. Look at all these people. Thank you very much, Nina. All of you. Joshua Good. And I know he's probably here, but I haven't seen. He's probably said hello at the start. I just got to say it because he's probably here. Doctor's orders. There we go.
Are you talking about Doctor's orders? Yes.
Yeah. You gotta love our effects units. Yeah, so 1,000. Look, it was really exciting. On the night, I wanna find out. Yes, there's Doctor's orders, so he's here. So thanks for all being here, everybody. So I'll tell you a little bit about my story. So you know, it's been a steady rise. And I monitor my stats, and thanks to you with helping out with things like TubeBuddy and monitoring all the analytics, it's been really interesting watch it all happen. So we got to, so I've been averaging about 100 subscribers every 3.5 weeks. So it's been a nice steady rise, but it got to 980, and all of a sudden, bang, 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 and within a couple of hours, within 2 hours, I hit 1,000. And then not even an hour past that, I was at 1,060.
Yeah.
What? Pete, do you know why this happens? Have I moved up to a higher echelon? Have I been given a place at the table with like the semi-bigger guys?
Yeah, there's a couple of things at play here, and firstly, I'll say the YouTube algorithm is a mysterious beast that no one actually understands. I don't think even YouTube engineers understand how it all works. But yeah, there's definitely a thing. There's a couple of things at play here. People love being involved in a moment. So when they see someone at 980, it's amazing how quickly you get to that milestone because people just like, oh, maybe I'll be the one that gets them to the big number. Yeah. For some reason, as humans, we have this thing with big round numbers, and we want to see it happen. Yeah, once you do hit, YouTube, and we'll talk about how good this is and how bad this is, because we're going to have to get into the deep, dark world of vanity metrics and are they good or bad. But getting to 1,000 subscribers does unlock a bunch of stuff. You get your community tab. It's the threshold for monetization. So for joining the YouTube Partner Program, which has its own big set of things that we can talk about in a little bit of detail later. But yeah, it does definitely give you that boost. And there's something that, I don't know if it's mental. I think most of it is actually mental as opposed to the actual algorithm, that people see that. And as soon as they see a channel that they're like, oh, it's got 1,000 subscribers, I'll now click that one. Like, that one looks like it's actually going to be something. And it's weird and a little bit disappointing, because some of the coolest channels that I watch and that I listen to have, 30 subscribers and 80 subscribers and 120 subscribers. Yeah. So the subscriber count doesn't dictate or indicate the quality. It kind of just, as you've said really accurately, it indicates the point of the journey that you're on. So whether you're on the part of the journey where you're starting, and slow and steady growth is 100% the way to do it and the way to get there. So yeah, again, we'll talk about all of that. But yeah, the short version is, I think it's a little bit human going, I want to help Jade get to 1,000. And then a little bit is, you suddenly get into the watch pages and you suddenly get into the recommended pages, and you'll get your stuff featured on the YouTube front end. And people that haven't seen your stuff before will start seeing it. And because you've done the TubeBuddy thing, you've learned about descriptions and tags and keywords and all that fun stuff that's not really the creative, but more the administration side.
It's pretty boring, yeah.
It's boring as crap. But yeah, it's necessary if you want to reach people that don't already know you. So yeah, you've got to learn.
Yeah, and I don't clock watch or anything like that. I seriously, I'll check like once a day. I'll just have a look at my little YouTube app to see what's going on. Mainly for comments, because it's easier to respond to comments in the little YouTube app. Or if I'm on my computer, which most of the time I'm on my computer, I'm laying on my bed over there with a mouse and keyboard on my bed because I'm lazy. Okay, I'll just show you something. This is what I found really interesting. All right, so I'll bring it up on the screen here, and I'm giving you a little look into the world of YouTube. So in the app, I got this message at the top: congrats, your channel's views are up 111%, mainly due to people watching several of your videos outside of YouTube. Now, a lot of views come from outside of YouTube, from Facebook for me, right? But then it says this, tell me more. And I was like, tell me more, would you put up a fight? So, of course, I want to know more. So I clicked on that, and it gave me a little bit more insight here. But this is what I find interesting. More views from other websites and apps. Your video's got the most views from the following websites and apps. Google search did all of a sudden getting to 1,000 change the algorithm to move some of my stuff more over to the actual Google search engine, and all those tags that I've been creating all this time for the last 6 months on every video and all the SEO stuff, that kind of moved across to Google search, is because Google search results were normally pretty low. Yeah.
Potentially. So yeah, it's a combination. It's like a chicken and egg thing. Yeah. So the 1,000 does unlock some things, and because YouTube are Google, for those that don't know, Google and YouTube all owned by the Alphabet Corporation that own the world. So yeah, YouTube is Google. They use all the same search algorithms as Google for YouTube. So yeah, part of it is actually that once you hit 1,000, it does start unlocking things, and your account goes through changes. That special time in everyone's life. It's the same for your YouTube account.
My voice was changing.
Exactly. You're going to get hair in places hair didn't used to be. So you do go through that. But the other thing that happens, because there's that organic thing, like you had the interview with Lewis, a bunch of people came in externally from that. You've had people actually discovering your content. Is kind of this circular thing, is that Google goes, it tests things, it puts things out there and says, so someone that's done something about a particular plugin, so the Mammoth Base thing, it'll say, oh, a bunch of people have done things on Mammoth Base and they've all got this in here. The more people that start clicking that as the search result that they're going for, the higher that lifts it up. So it's a little bit to do with that. It's not some magic thing that suddenly you weren't in the search and now you are, but because you've actually started getting more people clicking your search results more often, that tells Google, people when they're searching for this are actually looking for this content, and then it bubbles it up to the top. And the pure numbers thing just means that there's more people it's presenting it to, therefore likelihood, if you've got a good thumbnail and good description and good tags, more people are clicking it. And if you're delivering quality content, and this is the thing I wanted to say, we're probably going to talk about a bunch of nerdy analytics stuff here, but if you pair it all the way back to the start, it's like a song, right? You can have the best production in the world, you can have the best instruments, the best studio. If your song is shit, then it's going to be shit. And it's the same with your content on YouTube. If you're delivering boring, pointless content that's just spending 10 minutes before you even get to the point, people are going to click off, people aren't going to watch it, and they're not going to respect it. So respect your viewer, respect your audience. And just like music, don't waste people's time. Say, this is what I'm doing. If you dig this, then do it. And the reason I mention that is the way that you've grown your channel has been the right way to do it. There's been a couple of articles lately from YouTube folks who have had their views drop significantly. And the main cause of this is people buying subscribers and views and watch time.
And grifting.
Yeah. I want to put this out there right now. Don't do it. Do the opposite of Nike. Don't just do it. Just don't do it. Like, you're not unless you are as smart as a Google algorithm, you're not going to trick it. You're going to get some short-term growth, but long-term, Google will find those accounts. They're all in these farms in third world countries where there's people sitting there literally plugging in and watching stuff and using bots and using things. So they're going to find them eventually. They're going to shut them down. But worse than that, they're going to remove all those views and all that watch time from your channel. They're going to remove your subscribers will just suddenly go down by like a few hundred, and then you're actually going to get penalized. So worst case scenario, you lose your channel completely. They can shut you down for breach of terms of service. Best case scenario, you get like an extra 100 subscribers for a few weeks. And here's the thing. The reason I mentioned that is that your subscribers are the folks that are here right now. They're the folks that line up, that watch your videos every day. Having 1,000 of those folks versus 10,000 people who don't give a crap about what you're doing, that are just either robots or people that you've begged to be because you've subbed and you've done all this other stuff, that's going to be so much less relevant, and it'll actually penalize you, because you've got to think about the fact that when YouTube presents your videos out to people, if only like 1% of your audience ever actually watches it, it's going to know that. And there's something called, click-through rate, which if it presents it to 1,000 or 10,000 subscribers and only 100 watch it, well, that's much worse than 1,000 subscribers with 100 watching it. So hopefully that makes sense to folks. Just produce good quality content, put it out there, learn as you go, document your journey, and like Jade, you will go from strength to strength.
Yeah, thanks, Pete. Look, and I think that the thing is, I think with both of us, and it's something I've learned from you too, because I wanted to do a channel for the longest time. I wanted to teach for the longest time, but I didn't think I was good enough to teach. I think I've been a competent musician for many, many years. But, watching you, I think the number one thing that I learned from you, and another handful of people that I watch, people like Doug from the Sound Test Room, people like Patrick, from GarageBand Guide, God, my brain's always a mess. Is just be 100% honest and be yourself 100%. Like, don't try to be somebody else. Don't try to mask any. Just be absolutely straight up. And I guess I'm every day I think about the people who are subscribers and who are here every day, and I try and create my content to advance their music, and I just know it's going to feed off onto me anyway. And out of it, like, the most beautiful thing that's come from this channel, besides 1,000 subs, all that stuff, is like way back here. Is, as I've said from the beginning, have an initial goal. Like mine is stuck up here on my TV. You're doing this to get out of bed each day. Yeah, and that's it. And just stick by that, and don't veer off and get sucked into the world of, like, as you said, cheap pops. This isn't a wrestling match. Yeah. I'm not Stone Cold Steve Austin. I don't need to come out each day to cheap pops.
Apparently I'm Triple H. That's what I get told.
Yeah. Time to play the game.
And it's so true. And again, and I'm going to say something like contradictory to all that in a moment, which will be interesting for folks, I hope. But yeah, it is so true. It is, and there's a concept called the 1,000 true fans, and this is a concept that, if you want to do something for a living, it's one thing to have, you can have 1 million subscribers that don't give a crap about you, or you can have 1,000 true fans that are actually going to engage with you, that you're actually serving. And I think again, I get into a bit of the woo-woo stuff. So again, woo-woo alert. I'm going to get into a little bit of, philosophy here. But I think servant leadership is the best form of leadership, where it is, if you're the boss, you're working for your employees, and it's the same with this sort of stuff. If you're helping people, if you're an educator, you need to keep that in mind, that you are not the expert and you are not imparting wisdom down upon the plebs. You are actually building people up. You are supporting. You are being led by the people who the content you're actually providing for. So I think keeping that in mind is super important. The contradictory thing that I wanted to say here too is it's really important to serve your community and do things for your community, and make sure that you're doing that. The thing that some folks do is you can actually also do the opposite, which is where you get into a rut where you're producing things so narrow for your current audience that you're not ever going to expand outside of that scope. So I know it's kind of saying have your cake, eat it too. But the way you do your channel, the way I do my channel, the reason that I do a happy hour show every week, that's for me. That's 100% selfish for me, that I want to learn to play these songs. I want to sit around, drink a beer and play some cover tunes. And then I'll do videos that are 100% for the community. Your Music Live is 100% for the community. That is... again, until DistroKid came on and sponsored, I got nothing out of it. Now, thankfully, I can keep the lights on and do the show as well. But that's for the community to showcase your music. I'll then do very strategic stuff to bring in new subscribers, which is if there's a cool new app, if there's an update to something, if there's something that I'm seeing a lot of people ask about that I could do a tutorial on, that's actually going to engage. And right back to what you said at the start, those Google views and those YouTube searches and those sort of things are going to come from new people. And there's two ways to do this, right? You can go out there and you can be the spammers. You can go into every forum and just say, hey, come check out my YouTube channel. It's fire. Like, comment, subscribe, people. Come on, do it. That'll get you nowhere. The way to do it is actually to reverse engineer it, go into those communities, listen to what people are saying, listen to the comments, listen to the discussions, get involved into the discussions, give the answers, but then keep a notebook on the side. And if you've seen my OneNote, you'll see that there's about 400 little sentences in there that are just, one day I'm going to make a video about this because this person asked this, and then I'll just track it over time. And it's about listening to what people are actually talking about. And every week I get a comment like this, and I know you get the same, where you get people like, oh my God, I was just thinking about how to do that thing, and then you did a video about it. And it's like you're reading my mind. And I'm like, yeah, it's exactly like I'm reading your mind, except... like the whole Facebook thing where people think Facebook are tracking them and doing nefarious things, you're just putting that out in the world. If you're going to go and buy a new Potbelly Pig, well, you're going to get a bunch of Potbelly Pig Facebook notifications coming up. It's the same with creating content. If you're seeing that people are interested in MixBox, hey, you're going to go out and get yourself a copy of MixBox and do a show on it, right?
Yeah. Another thing too, like I don't really go back and watch my videos. It's just a thing, but I do go back and I turn down the videos and try and move the browser off the screen, and I watch the comments. I go back and watch the comments because there's lots of things that people are saying, because I miss a lot of stuff here, and there's lots of things there that I see in the comments, and I'm think I could probably do something with that later on. I'm not as organized as you writing things down. Maybe I'll get like that sooner or later. I kind of, you go with what is working, and if it's kind of working right now, you just stick with it. You know what I'm saying? And it's working for me at the moment. I'm curious to know, while we're talking about getting to 1,000 people, because you have over 70,000 subscribers now. What was your journey like to get to 1,000? Yeah,
it was unintentional. Like, I didn't have the focus that I have now. So it's funny, I found a blog post from 4 years ago the other day, and I was reading through this, and it was talking about my year, which was 2017, I believe. And I was going through the fact that, I got back into recording, and I was super stoked that I'd recorded this EP and a bunch of other singles, and I'd started releasing music with DistroKid. And in that, I said, hey, I'm super stoked. I've got 500 subscribers on YouTube. And I remember the feeling of that was amazing, that I thought, hey, 500 people give a shit about what I have to talk about. That's actually ridiculous. And then over time, obviously it grows. Now, the thing was that it was the first 1,000 were the hardest. In fact, the first 100 were the hardest. The first 500 were the hardest 500. The first 1,000 were the hardest 1,000. And then, as you've experienced, it does get easier. Like everything, it gets easier. But the misconception people have is that it's just, it becomes a cakewalk and you're just rewarded for it. You still have to put in the hard work, and what you probably don't realize is it's you improving over time. So I look at my original videos, I look at my earlier videos, and I was making lots of mistakes. But yeah, it's cringe fest, right? And I was making mistakes, I was doing things wrong. My editing was non-existent. It wasn't even bad editing. I just didn't edit. It was just all in there. So yeah, so for those, it was bad. For my live streams, I didn't even live stream, so I didn't sort of have that going on. But yeah, when I sort of realized that 1,000 was in reach, yeah, it took a long time. So 500 to 1,000 was over 6 months, like once I'd already reached that. And then once I got to 1,000, it kind of moved on from there. Because, yeah, it's kind of like the old adage is like, you got to have money to make money. It's almost like you have to have momentum to make more momentum. And by the same token, it's not only just that, it's that you are going to develop. So I say this about music too, to bring it back to music for folks here, is that there's a difference here. If you go away to the studio and you work on an album, so you got like 20 songs that you're working on, you go to a studio, you sit in the studio for 2 years, you produce 20 songs. You come back and say, hey, world, we've just been in the studio for 2 years. Here's my 20 songs. That is not going to be as good as over 24 months doing one song a month. And getting it, creating it, recording it, releasing it, getting it out there, creating, recording, releasing, getting it out there. Because what you learn as you go, those incremental changes that you make, those little tweaks, those little things that you learn from sharing and from documenting your process is what is actually going to lead to your success. And where I see people fall down is that there's two reasons. Either they think that it's going to be overnight, and there's an old saying that, you know, it took me 20 years to become an overnight success, like a lot of musicians will say, because they've been grinding it out. You don't know that they've been grinding it out in clubs. They've been writing crappy songs and bad albums for 20 years. You just see that they're suddenly an overnight success. Yeah. It's the same with this sort of stuff. It's that side of it, and then the impatience. So the reason that I give away everything, so I'm an open book here. I take the lead from Gary Vaynerchuk, who's an entrepreneur and someone that I sort of use as a mentor and as a guiding principle, which is that just give away your best stuff for free. Give away all of your information. There is nothing hidden in a secret course somewhere on GarageBand that I don't put out for free on my YouTube channel. And the reason for that is that I can give away all this information and maybe only 5 or 10% of people will actually take it on and use it. So if I gave you the blueprint for how I've actually grown my YouTube channel over time, it's absolutely zero danger that it's going to impact me, because the people that want to do it will do it and the people that don't won't. And those that sort of try it for 3 months, get frustrated and then stop, that's, I think, the disappointment. Same with music. The disappointing things is people that try it for 3 months, don't get any impact, don't think that they're making a difference, and then they stop. Because 3 months is not long enough. 3 years is not long enough. You need to work on this stuff and grind it out, because you're going to keep growing. No one's ever done something for 5 years and gone, geez, I'm worse at it now than I was 5 years ago, aren't I? No, you get better every time you do something, and rinse, repeat, do it again.
Yeah, nobody walks into a brand new job and in 6 months' time is like head of the company. It just doesn't work like that.
No, you know? And unfortunately, the people that want that, the people that walk into those things, and Simon Sinek, again, I'm throwing out names here, but Simon Sinek is another fantastic author, thought leader, as much as I hate that wanky term, but he's a guy that has he's a guy that wrote Start With Why. So he said, start with why. It's exactly what you said. What do you want to do? Why do you want to do this? Well, you want to get out of bed every day. And then what's sort of your secondary goal? Well, you want to share your knowledge and information. You want more people creating more music. Cool. You know why. There's other people that are getting out there that are doing things that they don't know their why, or their why is misaligned with their own passion. And that's a really tough thing to do. You can do things for a certain period of time. I mean, I was in the corporate world for 25 years and I was doing that. It wasn't always my passion. So my why was different from my actual thing that I was executing on. So yeah, I think that's the other important side to it, is to make sure that you actually know what you're doing and why you're doing it and why you're creating. And again, to bring it back to music and for the folks that are here live, why do you create music? And you've got to think about that. Like I thought about this as I was preparing for this show. I did like 2 minutes of prep while I was making my coffee before we came in here. And I thought it's kind of the same for music. Like Jade, you could probably make some pretty solid pop music. Like if you wanted to go out there and make a couple of $100,000 a year, you could produce pop music, you could produce music that you think is crappy, that's just the lowest common denominator stuff. You could go out and do that. And most people here could. But how long could you do that for? And how would you feel about that if you were producing that? And it's the same with your YouTube channel. You and I could have a prank channel. We could have a friggin' cannabis channel. We could have a channel about whatever, Bitcoin, whatever the flavor of the month is. But if you're not passionate about it, if you're not doing it and you're not enjoying it and you're not doing it because it's fun and because you like it, then it's going to be short-lived. That's my view anyway.
Yeah, I'd stick by. You've mentioned a couple of books here of people there. There's a book I read a few years ago, and it's been something that I've been drawn on again. I've been reading it again lately, called "How to Be a Free Range Human." And it is about that find the things that make you happy, or the thing that is the most important thing, no matter how narrow a path it is, and seek it out and follow it. And that is the key to becoming the free range human, to cutting yourself off from the rest of the world and creating your own world, creating your own job. Like I worked for American Express for a period of time. And when I started there, it took me a couple of years to move up the chain. But I actually got to a point where I thought about it so much and looked what was going around the company. I created my own role and went, hey, I see this missing. I think this. And you create your own space. So in the corporate world, you do it. In something like YouTube, in making music, create your own world. Because I nearly said it's damn easy to do. It's damn easy to actually think about it, because if it makes you happy, that's the right thing to do. But it's the hard work that you put in to get there that's the most important thing. And let's be honest, this is what, 136 episodes in 6 months. Ooh. I've busted my ass every day, or not every day, to try and put out content. But again, like, I've got so much more back from doing this. It's like becoming a volunteer too. I say this to a lot of people: if you're ever in a rut and your life is, you feel like you're not going anywhere, sign up to be a volunteer for somebody who's homeless, or somebody who's going through like dementia or anything. Go and help someone else, and out of it, I swear to God, great things will come to you. Like, it just is what it is.
Yeah, perspective is super important. And again, I know I keep bringing it back to people that I love, but one thing that again, Gary Vaynerchuk says is that, happiness should be the end goal. Like, success is important, money is important, all these things are important. But if they're not bringing you happiness and you're not happy in what you are doing, then that is the ultimate, really. You should actually be aspiring to that. And again, I don't like the concept of losers and winners, but when you're talking about making excuses and making your own role there's an old saying, which is that losers make excuses and winners make opportunities. So if you're sitting around making excuses for why you're not doing something, you're probably not going to be able to find yourself in a happy place. Instead, if you're looking around and seeing where the opportunities lie, and it's the same with the current situation. You can look at this and go, crap, maybe you had a job, or you had a role, or you had something that when COVID came along, it took that away from you, and you're like, crap, I've got no opportunity now. Or you could say, what are the new opportunities out of this? I'm not saying going and shafting people and doing the wrong thing, but just going, hey, this is a new environment. This isn't good, bad, or otherwise. It's just different. And what is different about this that is an opportunity for me to do something different that I might be passionate about? And for a lot of folks, it's been getting back into home recording. Like, the home recording, again, the opportunity for me was, through no fault of my own, a bunch of other people were stuck at home having to record. Now, I'm not going to leverage that. I'm not going to get in there and sell them $497 mastermind courses because they're sitting home vulnerable with a bit of extra cash.
No one buys that shit.
No, but I am going to, I did double my content output, because I'm like, there were more people wanting more information about more stuff, and I'll provide that because that was the opportunity at the time. That's slowing down again now. Look for the next opportunity, and that's where we're at now. So, yeah, I think it's good, and I know folks will want you to jump in and look at MixBox, because I can just see in the chat they're itching to learn about MixBox. So I will let you go in a moment.
Yeah.
But
can I finish with that? Have you heard of socialblade.com?
Yes, I have.
So somebody pointed out to me last night, and I had a look at my own page just to see exactly how much I'm worth. Mm-hmm. Very interesting stuff.
Yes, it is. It's funny if you look at that stuff, and I think I mentioned, I teased it at the start, but I'll finish with this, which is that all these things are vanity metrics at the end of the day. Yeah, none of this stuff is real. None of this stuff is the important stuff. The important thing is the one-to-one engagement. So you and I having this one-to-one conversation now, and that every individual person that's here in the chat that's listening to this right now feeling like that they're engaging with this content and with each other. That's a beautiful part of live, is you have the community, you have everyone here at once. So all this stuff is vanity metrics. I know YouTube actually doesn't do us much of a service, because again, they have these things like a 1,000 1,000 subscriber threshold, they have 4,000 hours of view time threshold. When you hit 10,000, it opens up other things. When you hit 100,000, you go to little silver play button. So they actually are the ones that are encouraging us to chase these vanity metrics. But at the end of the day, the important thing should be how you actually are engaging one-to-one with an end person. That's why, whenever I talk, my philosophy here is I'm going to help you create, record, and release your best music, not everyone and not the world. Like it's about the one-to-one engagement. It's about the end user and the viewer of what you're actually putting out there.
I'll just say, like, when I looked at those statistics and you see this worth kind of thing, it didn't matter what amount of money or whatever it said there, because none of that is worth any of my subscribers.
Yeah,
that's just all I could think of. So yeah.
Exactly, and do take that, because I think mine, it says, depending how you read it, I could be on the poverty line or I could be a multi-millionaire. Yeah. So the ranges that they give in there
pretty weird.
Are kind of crazy. So and again, because it's all just guesswork, and again, the one final thing I'll say. Sorry, I know we could chat all day about this stuff because I find it fascinating. But the one final thing I'll say is, don't put all your eggs in one basket. If you are interested in this stuff, if you do want to chat to me about Google and YouTube and analytics and all the business side of it, don't build your giant mansion on rented property, because the landlord could come and kick your ass out of there at any moment. So I know a lot of people have this aspiration to be part of the YouTube Partner Program, and it is cool. You know what? Producing stuff and having ads on it and getting paid by companies to do the stuff you love, there's nothing cooler, right? But it could all go away like that. And if you have the mindset that this is a bonus, this is not why you're doing it, this is just a bonus for the stuff you're doing anyway, then that is a great mindset to have, because things change, algorithms change, the partner programs change, the amount you get paid change, all this stuff will constantly change. And again, this is not our land. We're sitting here in YouTube right now. YouTube are letting us hang out on their property. If they board the place up tomorrow and kick us out, then there's not really much we can do about that. So yeah, that's the other thing to keep in mind. Diversify, have a bunch of different stuff that you're going to do otherwise. And you're doing a perfect example of that. You got your app, you got merch, you're doing your music, you're doing the How to App series, you're getting involved in radio shows and other things and live performances. So if you're doing music or anything in life, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yep. Be prepared to grow with the land you live on.
Right.
Because you're growing on it. So
exactly, we are, and again, it's not to say just have to worry and freak out about every little thing, but it is an important concept to know that, you're not always in control, and that's okay, because then it's all right to not have complete control, and it's not worth worrying about things you can't control. The amount of I'm involved in a lot of forums and groups about music, but also about video production and YouTube, and the amount of people that are in there spending hours a day. It's kind of like the people that are in like the Gear Sluts forum spending hours a day telling people why they shouldn't use the gear that they're using. It's the same here. There's people in there for hours telling you what you should and shouldn't do, and how they're worried about this algorithm, and they put this video out and only got 80% of the views of the last video, and it's like, just create stuff. Just get out there and do your thing.
Focus on the next video. Thank you very much, Pete, for hanging out. I know you've got some wrangling to do with the kiddos.
I do.
So go wrangle up some kiddos. And thank you also for all your support, your friendship, all your help since kicking this thing off. You've been invaluable. I love chatting with you every day. You're such a good mate. So thank you very much, my friend.
Right back at you. Take care. Right. And I'll be going doing the drop off, and then I'll be checking out MixBox so that I can steal all your ideas and then put them in my review.
You have a good day, Pete.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Okie doke. And there goes Pete. Thank you very much, Pete, for hanging out. Thank you all for being here. And thank you all for, I can see all the comments going by, but and we'll get over to you. I see there's a few more people that have come in there, so thank you very much. I see Bubba's here now. Let me get my mouse back over here. Crazy mouse. I think I saw Metalhead Hippie as well. Who else was new who I haven't said hello to? Let me do some scrolling. Marnix Von Luke, is that how I say that? Ed B. Sion, haven't said hello to you too. Ed, I think I said hello to Ed Zielinski. Scrolling up. If I haven't said hello, just a pain to get. I'll scroll back down. Anyway, you're not here for me to like cheer out stuff and all that stuff. So Thank you for being here as well for today. Thank you for supporting me. Thanks so much. I can't say thank you enough. I'm super, super blown away. But you're here to look at this app today, aren't we? We want to look at this app, and you want my opinion on it, so you're going to get it. So I got this app on Friday when I did my interview show with Lewis Rojaz, and I hadn't had a chance to look at it. And then I think it was on Friday, I did a Patreon live stream. So if you're not a Patreon and you're interested in doing that, you can sign up for begin at $1. There's like 4 tiers, and I do these like crazy 2-hour random streams where I'll just look at something, look at a bunch of apps, try and do something crazy. Like yesterday, I did a live stream on Patreon where I took a project from Aurea Pro and transferred it across to my Mac Mini and opened it up in Logic. And then I took the Billie Eilish song from Logic and then imported that over onto my iPad into Aurea Pro. That was an adventure. And it all worked, man. It all worked. That was really, I was blown away by that shit. So it's incredibly possible to transfer an Aurea Pro project into Logic on your Mac and back the other way. Really cool. So let's jump into what we're going to do today. So MixBox. So I had a look at this on Friday. We did like 2 hours just exploring it and seeing what it can do, testing out how much resources it takes up, all this kind of stuff. And it's got a few bugs. It's got a few things that will need to get fixed. But let me reassure you, with every app that comes out, right? It's a first version. You got to remember that. First version apps get updated, man. Like nearly every app that I review or a developer, like say Paul from 4Pocket sends me something. Normally he'll say, we've just released it, but I'm just about to do an update, so can you hold off? There's always an update because you got to remember these developers are making these apps to go across a massive range of iOS devices, right? And each year, Apple release more and more iOS devices. You know, this year there's 4 different ones. And we're going across devices that are like, you know, back to 2015 that are still a lot of these apps run on. So everything has to be tested out first, and you can only do so much beta testing, right? Because you'll get people beta testing who just want to get the app, right? And then they don't even test it just to say they've got it. And then you've got people who test it and send bug reports. And then you've got people who say they're going to test it and never install it. So there's a lot of factors involved. So let's just get all that out the way. This app is not perfect. No app is perfect off the bat, and no thing is perfect. But it's gonna be a bit of a game changer, let's be honest. So there's my metrics page. Let's jump in and talk about it first. Now, I want to say thank you to IK Multimedia for providing me with the app as well. And we've got one to give away today. So remember that. And I don't know how I'm going to do this yet. So I'm going to give away a few apps today, right? I don't know how we're going to do this. I haven't really thought that far ahead. And I want to, before we do this, I want to thank all of the developers who have given me codes and apps over this 6-month period. You guys are amazing. You know, I thank you so much. I always feel shit actually reaching out and asking for an app. I still do. Like, I feel like I'm ripping them off somehow, right? It's just my nature. It is what it is. But every time they give me apps, I'm ever so thankful, you know, and I normally only reach out to a developer if I think the app is going to be worth people's time, worth my time, worth people's time. If I see something that I think is shit, I'm not going to reach out and then give some bullshit review about it. I want to be as honest as possible. So let's open it up first. I've got to find it. There it is, MixBox. So let's open it up as a standalone app first, just so we can see exactly what's going on, because this actually does change a little bit in the different instances. So when you open it up as a standalone app, it's a little bit different than when you open it up as, say, in GarageBand or in AUM. And what are those differences? The first differences are across the top here, right? So you've got these 8 strips across the top here, which I'm scrolling back and forward. And in each one of these, you can add a set of 8 different effects. So you can go over to number 2 and add 8 different effects. You can go over to number 3 and add 8 different effects, right? But when you open this up in something like GarageBand, this top strip vanishes. So you don't get this option. Now that makes a lot of sense too, because you have to remember GarageBand struggles no matter what app that you're using as an AUV3 with multiple instances of it. And we all know what happens, don't we? Optimizing performance. And we all fucking hate optimizing performance. All right. Now, there are ways to resolve optimizing performance. And you have to remember too, just like when apps are released, that they're not always going to work the same on each device. Optimizing performance happens differently for different people. It all depends on the iPad or the iPhone that you're using, how old it is, how many apps you have installed, how much space you have left on your device. If you're sitting there on a device that's only juggling like 5 gig or 2 gig, and you've got a 128 gigabyte device, and you're sitting around 2 gigs spare, you're gonna get much more of the optimizing performance. And there are ways around fixing that too. And they might not make you happy, but it is what it is. Sometimes if you've got a whole lot of tracks that are MIDI tracks, you have to merge them down into audio tracks. And maybe you have to merge down the effect with that track to save up the optimizing performance. Now, when we jump over to GarageBand, we'll talk more about that. So here we are in this interface. I just want to say, I fucking love this interface. Like with Jacob Hack's Agonizer, I love skeuomorphic stuff, especially, I love these little wires down here. I love the see across the bottom here, how there's 2 screws in there, and the rest, they're kind of missing, and all the wood's faded. I just love that shit. It proves, before anything else, that there's been a lot of attention to detail on this app, that whoever has made it, the team behind it, have put a lot of care into this, and they've thought about it. So I like that. Now, what can you do with this thing? So you have these, as I said, with each strip across the top here, which we're going to start with number 1. You can add in each of these spaces an effects chain. Okay, so you've got 8 of them, and you've got 8 by 8 by 8. So really cool, yeah? Now, before you add any of those, here's a beautiful part. Down the bottom here, this little black space here, all right? These are where all your presets are. So there are 70 effects built into this. And we're going to get to the price as well, because I know it's a contentious thing, everybody, about price and stuff. But let's just say it's on special for half price at the moment. So it's $40 US. 70 effects. That's, at the moment, under $1 an effect. Okay? Even when it doubles in price, goes up to what, $80 if that's the price US. 70 effects, so a bit over $1 effect. If you think about it that way, pretty cool. So let's get back to down here. This little strip here, these are where your presets are. And there's over 600 presets. Plus, when you actually log in, start up the app, if you go up here to your account and you actually create an account and register, you get a whole bunch more effects, a whole bunch more presets. And you'll see they go into this little folder here called Signature. Is that what it, let me make sure I'm saying that right. No. Is it Signature? I think so. I can't remember. Maybe. Yeah, there they are. So you get all these bass, and you get all these bus processing. These are all extra ones that you get once you register the product. So that's really cool too. Most people wouldn't know that because I didn't see it advertised anywhere. Now, if let's start off with some vocals. So I'm going to grab my mic, okie doke, and I'm going to head over here to the left-hand side up the top. So you can see my Steinberg's all set up here, all right? So that's all connected. Now if I hit setup, here's where it gets cool. So rack 1, we've got rack 1 here set up, and this little button here is for your stereo or mono. So if I turn on my mic right now, hello, 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 hello. So now I'm on my my Shure SM58, okay, and you can hear it's only going to one side. That's because it's set to stereo. So where it says format here, if you click that, it changes it to mono. Pretty cool, yeah? So this is your input, and you've got a stereo output. So with each rack, you can change your mono or stereo. That's really cool. So really nice and easy to set up too. It's the audio and MIDI section. So you've got two tabs here. So there's your setup for your ins and outs. And your audio MIDI section here is nice and easy too, with device, that stays the same. Your sample rate, buffer size, Steinberg, and background audio on. Everything's really easy. Nice and big, simple. Simple, simple. So the beautiful thing here, if we just start off with the presets, when we go down the bottom, you'll see, when we scroll down, vocals. There's a heap of vocal effects in here. Look at all these. Yeah. So let's just go through a few of them. Now, be aware, each time you click through a different one of these, it takes a few seconds, a microsecond, to change out because it's adding a whole bunch of effects. Just flick back to this microphone for a second. It's having to bring in, say, 5 effects or 6 effects, all right? So, and that's a lot of processing power. And as you can see, there is a little processing thing over here to tell you. So currently 2% is running. But let's just bring in this vocal layer one to start with. And when I, look at that, bang. When I click it, it automatically adds all these effects in. So you can already hear them. Let's turn this off. This was my mic before. And this is it now. Well, it's the big show. Well, it's the big show tonight. That's pretty cool, yeah? And it's added in here some ambience. We've got an ensemble. We've got some tone control. We've got an EQ. We've got a compressor in there. There's a lot to this one. So you can see there's 6 that it's added in there. If we now you'll see what I mean by when I click another preset, you may hear some clicking because it's removing all of these effects and it's adding in a whole bunch. So you've got to be realistic about this. Bang, there we go. So now we've added like a vocal chorus. Whoa, whoa, yeah. And what do we got in here? So there's a compressor, there's an EQ, we've got a chorus, a digital delay. There you go. Let's jump across. I'm just going to go through a few of these. We've got a solo. So you hear what happened then, how it kind of made an effect there. This one sounds like it's, ooh, yeah. Whoa, my, yeah. Pretty cool. You even got a radio. And what happened there? So now we've got a radio-friendly voice. So this is for podcasting, anything kind of like that. And Benedict Stewart says, what a beautiful interface. Look at those beautiful effects. But we'll get to those. Let's throw in a pop vocal. Ooh. So you can hear this has added a bit of space to it, a bit more of the highs in there, a bit of body. Well, yeah. What about a bit of natural jazz? Do-ba-do-do, do-ba-ba-ba-da-da. Yeah. So there's a bit of a room in there as well. So a bit of a room reverb. Over here we've got a saturator. Let's just turn up this saturator and watch this. La 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 la, la 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 la. Now everybody wants a bit of rock. Let's throw this in. Yeah, well, do. Well, in here they've added like a preamp, got some tone control. There's a compressor in here. So, and here's the beautiful thing, right? You'll notice with all of these presets, just going to jump off this mic for a second. With all of these presets, right? What you have to remember is they're not loading up every single one of them, right? Remember with everything, and I'm going to talk more about this when we're in GarageBand. Less is more. So if you've got the idea to know, like, throw away all your effects in GarageBand and then open this up and bang this on every single track with 8 effects in each one, guess what? You're going to be in hell. It's going to be a bad time for you, because this is going to create optimizing performance. This is going to cause a lot of hassle if you just load up every track. So you have to be realistic. And like any song that you're recording, if you're relying fully to just load up your song with effects, then you're doing it you're making it hard for yourself, because less is always more. Now, just before we go on, if you have a look here, the rack is now using 15%. That's a fair bit, all right, for just one preset we have going on here, yeah? So because look what it's got, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's got 6 effects running through it. So you have to keep that in mind. You just can't load this shit up. So we'll jump over to, what else have we got here? We'll do one more kind of vocal thing. Then I'll chuck a guitar in here. Clean and controlled, yeah? Oh, listen to that. Hello. Oh, wow. How rich is that, yeah? What a nice sound. Well, come here, my love. I'll tell you a secret. Just to show you what's going on here with how my mic placement. Come closer now. I want you to believe it. Please believe it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Obviously, I'm popping a little bit there. I don't have a filter over the top of that. I'm just hand holding too, so you know it's not going to be perfect. So, but look, you get an idea of some presets there. Let's bin this for now. We'll turn that off. Come back over here to my regular microphone, yeah. And let's get back to here. Now, what are we going to do? Let's leave this as it is. Dump my mic on the floor. Let me grab my guitar. And Russ has pointed out in the chat here that it's 33% off at the moment. It's weird. I went and looked at the... so 33%, but when I went and had a look, check this out. So MixBox... Oops, not MixBox. It says here 50% off. Can you read that? It says 50% off. Special introductory pricing, 50% off. But then somewhere else I saw it was 33%. I'm not sure. I don't know. Yeah. Now it's going to have to reload, because I'm going to be honest, it does take up a fair bit of processing power. If I I don't want to shit in your pocket or anything like that. So we're going to head over to my Steinberg here, and what we want to do is get my guitar happening. So that's going to be in channel 2. Input. There we go. So we've got channel 2 set up now. Yeah, look, they must have changed it, because I was sure the other day it said 33%. But yeah, look, in Australia, it's, what is it? I think it's $46 or something like that, or it's probably a bit more than that. So it's going to work out to be nearly $100 here. But yes, let's just get this out of the way too. The Mac PC version is like fucking nearly $300 and something dollars. So compared to that, it's bloody cheap. Cheap, like a bird. Cheap. So I got my guitar plugged in now. And we're probably out of tune, because most of you who watch the show know that my bedroom gets super hot, and all my 6 guitars decide to just go out of tune on a daily basis. So cool. So we're going to stick with down here, having a look at. Let's have a look at some of the guitar stuff. So let's scroll down. Can we find some metal? Yeah, some metal. Where's foreign? Some fucking metal, man. I can't say Flexi amp metal. All right. I just want to see something that says like metal. Here's a lead. So let's. Whoa. Okay, that was pretty cool. What's the next one? See if it's any different. Says that that's a lead 2. Is it much different? And that's right, it does need a gate, Skies Watcher, but here's the thing. I can't find a gate on here. I don't think there is a noise gate. After all my searching and stuff, there ain't one, which is a shame. Hopefully it's something that they will add. I guess it's something that we want them to do. So I know they're going to be watching this, so seriously, IK, if you can add a gate to this, really, it's needed, because there are those of us who use guitars and want to play metal, but if there's no gate, but you know, the alternative to that is to use a gate. And if you're in GarageBand, you could add a gate to this in another one of your plugin spaces. That'll work too. Plus, you've got a gate also in GarageBand and in a lot of the other doors that you use. So there's a way around it for now, right? But yeah, listen to that. It sounds like when I got my Spark amp and it had that horrible buzz and they had to send me a new power supply, which they did. So we get a jazz chorus here. So it's a push, so it's a bit of a distortion kind of on there. We've got a dirty, funky sound. So what have we got in there? So we've got a distortion. I'm going to turn that off. Let's go through some of these things. A British crunchy, vintage clean. Cool. What else? Got a spring type. We got what? A synth guitar? Okay. which is pretty much just distortion and flanger to me. Reggae? Ooh. So there's a wah pedal as well. This is really cool. I hope the wah's in here. Up the wazoo, I nearly said. So I'll just show you too. There is actually a wah pedal. Let's bring this in. I find this very cool. So I can't remember where it is. Boom, 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 boom. Where did I see it? Wow, wow, wow. I thought it was down the bottom of something. Not in there, not in there, not in there, not in there. It's not in saturation, not in reverb. There it is. So there's a wah pedal. There it is. And look at that. It's animated too, so you can drag your finger across. And it's got an auto built into it, auto wah. Let's bring that volume down a bit, that out. So cool, that's that. Now I'm just going to put the guitar down for a bit, and we'll run over a few more of the knobs and stuff, because we haven't had enough knob talk yet. Yes, there is a user save. So when you click down the bottom again on this main section here, you can see up the top you've got save, save as, delete, copy. So, and you can even share. So you can share these as well. And I don't believe there's a MIDI learn. I'm pretty sure there ain't. So hopefully that's maybe a thing they can add in there as well. So yep, you can definitely save your presets, all that kind of stuff, all that goodness, typical stuff. But let's have a look around at the rest of the knobs here. So here's your in, okay, and your volume for your input. Over the other side, clearly marked, is your output and your slider there. Here's your usage. So you can see already just with this one going on here, it's hovering between like 30%. And this is only one channel with, 6 of them going. So, and yeah, exactly. As Ed has said, hopefully things like MIDI learn and all this stuff will be things they add. I hope so, for the price that people are paying for this. So there's side chaining as well over here. I'm not going to get into that today because that's a whole nother thing. A lot of people won't know what side chaining is, so there's a whole video in just that first. There's a little mute, I'm pretty sure, mute everything kind of deal. I'm pretty sure that's what that is here. Now, down the bottom, to the left-hand side here, when you click on this, it brings up a wet and dry signal for each of your effects, okay? So you can control the wet and dry for each one of them across the bottom. That's super handy, man. Super, super handy. And that's just that little button there. Now, this where things get a little bit more exciting. So when you click on this little button here that kind of looks like a microphone or an iPhone or whatever it is, like a little rectangular thing, you'll see it brings up these little black boxes under each effect. And what that does is it opens up, this is where we get the 600 plus presets. What it means is each effect that you add has its own set of presets as well. Look at that. Yeah, sexy. So each one of these, so this LFO has a whole bunch. Look at them all. Each one has their own set of effects. And within here as well, you can see there's a save as feature too. So you can also save each individual's effects. You can load up a preset and then you can save that within here as well. So there's like meta within meta within meta. Yeah, lots of options So as you can see, this wah pedal even has a whole bunch. So a funk touch, a muted guitar, pretty cool. So lots of effects within effects. Over here to the right, all the way down the bottom, is your so levels for each one of them. So you've got levels, and you've got a solo, and to turn on and off. So this is for your sidechain. Only some tracks have a sidechain ability. Some effects have a sidechain ability. All right. So you're looking at more of like the compressors and things like that. Will have the same sidechain button there available. But here you can solo tracks. You can change the level of them. All right. So that's that little button down there in the bottom right hand corner. And you've got a BPM down here too. So, and yes, this is only for iPad, because I guess it would be like really hard on a phone to cram all this in. Up here in the top left hand corner, you've got your audio setup, which you can actually get from over here, and help. So you've got help to answer any of your questions. And as I said earlier, if you do get this app, create an account with IK Multimedia, go and register it, and you'll get a whole swag of extra presets. You may as well, because they're there for you for free. So that's an overview of this running by itself. Okay, so yeah, it's $40 for 70 effects. It's fantastic. Before we jump into GarageBand, because we'll jump into GarageBand for a bit, then we'll jump into AUN just for a little bit. You got to remember, this ain't gonna kill independent developers. This ain't the app killer that's gonna wipe out independent developers. Sure, this has got a lot of fantastic effects in it and everything, but there are other apps that you can always go to that use a lot less CPU that you could use in combination with this. Okay. This would be great for really, finding, say you've got like a vocal track that you really want some solid compression on, and you could use this for a bunch of compression. But then if you wanted to use something like an LFO on a whole bunch of other tracks, or like a saturator, then there are other great apps that use much less CPU that you can still use. So this definitely ain't going to wipe out smaller developers. In fact, this is just a nice big suite to have, as like any app to have in your arsenal, and if you've got the money to spend on it, I pretty much think you're going to get some usage out of it. Just the thing to remember is less is more. Don't, just because you have a whole shitload of effects that you can put into one track, it doesn't mean you should. Right? Because let's see what I'm talking about there. So let's bring up GarageBand, and I'm going to start with a brand new track, and I'm going to you don't have to register the product, but to actually get the extra presets, register it, so it's worthwhile. I'm going to create a brand new project here, and we're going to throw in, just to kick it off, we're going to go over to Kyle, and we're going to throw in some Kyle drums. As you can see, it's taking a little bit of time. Come on, Kyle. Get your shit out of the car, dude. Right, so we've got Kyle. Yeah, go Kyle. Yeah, heard it all before, brother. Then we're going to go over, and we're just going to load up some tracks here. So we're going to go to Smart Bass. And we're going to turn this on and do what we did last week. Get the same beat going, yeah? Yeah. Cool. Cool. So we get some drums. What else can we add? Let's add just some acoustic guitar, yeah. So we'll load it up with a few things. that up a bit. Cool. That'll do for now. So if you haven't got a product, you can't get the sounds. No, this is a product. So you just register this app is a product. You can register like hardware with IK Multimedia, and you can register software. So this is counted as a product. So that's all good. I'm not sure how many presets you get. We'll have a look at it again. So what have we got here? So we've got these tracks. Anything else we can add in? Let's just add. Let's go in and add some strings. I'm just going to add as many things as I can. Cool. Sweet, and we'll add some piano just to round it all out, yeah? Just a basic piano. So just registered, got 77 extra. So yeah, 77, why not? You know, if that's what they're offering. Cool, let's just add this in. Sweet. Now we'll mix these in a bit so we can actually hear what's going on. Get a bit closer to my mic. We'll turn all these down. Let's try and get a quick mix of them so when we add all these effects we can actually hear what's going on. It says you need a serial number no serial number needed. Just use an existing IK account or just sign up for a new account. So you can sign up for a brand new account. You can definitely do it without a serial number. So I didn't have to enter a serial number. Yeah, but I did it through the app. So anyway, I've got an account. All right. Anyway, let's get back to this. So I'm sure you'll figure it out. It shouldn't be too hard. Let's jump into the drums. I'm going to solo the drums now, and we are going to play around and add this as a plugin. And we'll see how many we can add till we kind of crash this out. We're going to go to audio unit extensions, and where are we? So we're going to M for Mixbox, and there it is. Now I'm going to go to the presets here. So I'm going to make this full screen, and you'll see in here you've got drums. So we've got, let's just start the drums playing. Actually, we'll get back to done. We'll start this just on a loop. We'll go to full screen, drums. So let's give it a bit of brightness. Acoustic glue drum bus. Turn it off and see the difference there. That's a pretty big difference, yeah? It's really brought that to life. So yeah, it places the plugins in the signature folder. It adds a folder to your mix. So now we're going to jump over to the bass and we'll check out some of the bass presets on here. So we're once again go to add, and we're adding a audio unit extension here. Scrolling down to find the letter M, MixBox. Wonder how many it's going to take before we can crash it. Yeah. So here's our bass. And I'm going to go to the bass section. Let's give it a big bass, yeah? What else do we have? Fretless. We've lost sound. Right. Hopefully this is the one. Is it here? Is this the one? So there's now. This is what I've been wanted to do. So there's a couple of actual effects units that have got a problem at the moment. I've sent a bug report to IK Multimedia. One is a reverb, and I'm pretty sure one of them is one of these. And I can't remember now. Let's see if we can. So now you've heard all my sound's gone. Right? So let's do this and delete MixBox from here. And now we've got a sound back. So it was one of those, I can't remember. So there's two of them from my memory that has got an issue, and I'm sure in their next update they will rectify this, because I only found out about this not through playing with it, but through somebody else posting on a message board. So there definitely is an issue with a couple of apps. Again, it's the one on the far right. Thank you very much, Valium. But again, you have to keep in mind first version of this. So let's jump over, and we won't add that one again, but we'll head over to bass, and let's add a vintage rock bass. All right. So it's happened again. I'm guessing it's the, do you know which one it is exactly? It's not the distortion. Is it this classic? Yeah, I think is it the app, or is it this compressor? It's one of these, man. Frustrating. So let's see if we can fix this up. So this happened on Pete's show if you were just watching before. And now that's gone, we've got sound back. I'm just going to use one of the ones we used before just to show you what's going on. So it's probably the bus comp. Let's just add that one by itself and see what it is, yeah? If it's that. Xbox. So we're going here. So it would be I think it's in here, no? There it is. So it's this one right here. Okay, this channel strip. This is the one that's causing problem, and it's one of the reverbs too. It is. I can't remember which one it is. Can't even fucking remember now. It is. I'm pretty sure it's one of the reverbs as well. So definitely there is a problem with a couple of those. But you know, that's what this is about, to show you what's going on with these. So again, to fix it up, this is the best way to do it from what I found, is to remove it. Once again, we'll jump over here. And see, this is the thing, because I'm adding presets, I don't know what they're going to add. So for now, let's just add in what I know. Let's add a saturator in here. Let's add in a reverb. So we'll add in a room. Oh, and the room did it. Look at that. Good times. Fuck. I never had this trouble. Actually, I never had this trouble the other day when I was doing this, did I? In my 2-hour show. So I wonder what the deal is. Interesting. I'm going to try, you know what it could be too? Let's just do this. Now that we're experimenting with this stuff. God, it seems like it's several of them. Or maybe it is. You know what it could be? It could be fucking GarageBand. Let's not cut through the fucking shit here. Since the latest GarageBand update, this thing's been running like a dog with two legs. GarageBand has been running like shit for everybody. Apple has dropped the absolute ball on this. Just gonna throw it out there. I think it's more to do with GarageBand. For example, let's try. So, what was the one I added before? So it was this vintage rock bass, yeah? And the sound's gone. Let's try this. I want to find out. Let's shut everything down here. It could be that I had stuff running in the background too. So let's just try opening this up. Again. So we've got sound here. And then what I'll do next is I'll shut GarageBand down. We'll open AUM. I'll grab my bass and we'll see if the same thing happens by using the same effect patch, yeah? Because I want to get to the bottom of it. Alrighty. So we're going to try this one more time. So here's a plate reverb. And this room reverb does it. Alright. So let's just for now shut down GarageBand. Let's jump into AUM. What I'm going to do is add, because my guitar's all plugged in, so we'll just use the guitar for now. And we're going to add it as an effect. And, God, I always do that. MixBox. Let's try this. Let's try adding it. So I'm going to go to bass. We're going to go down to this vintage bass. And it's working in here. So what does that tell you, folks? GarageBand! To me, that says GarageBand. If these effects are working in AUM, because that's working in here, so I don't know what to tell you. Possibly it's GarageBand, because I had a chat with one of my friends, Steve, today, who had tried putting a MixBox on 20 tracks in GarageBand, 20 audio tracks, and his GarageBand was spazzing out so much and having heaps of problems. I just have a feeling it's GarageBand. So just by looking at this. What was one of the other ones we added before that caused problems? There's another one here, so I can't remember what it was. Was it the hip hop bass I tried to add? So it seems to be working here. All of the effects seem to be working here okay. So the ones that were crashing over in GarageBand, I don't know if it was just because it shouldn't be. Ultimately, if we head over back to GarageBand, and I'll just make sure AUM's closed out. Let's just head over to this drum kit, right? Just to make sure, just to test, edit, and we'll remove MixBox from the drums. Then head over back to this bass and remove it here. So we've got bass playing. Now let's see if we add it again. Just covering all the bases, folks. MixBox. And we've got a bass. And boom, shaka laka laka laka. So there you go. GarageBand. And look, it could be too that we saw Pete was having trouble with it on GarageBand Weekly. And remember, Pete has updated his iPad to the latest GarageBand and iOS 14. I'm on iOS 13.7 and have an older version of GarageBand. So this is an older version. Pete was having trouble with it. I'm having trouble with it. It seems to be a GarageBand thing because I've been using this pretty much the whole weekend in AUM and as a standalone, not so much in GarageBand. And I kind of really didn't see the extent of it, but I think this is a GarageBand problem. Hopefully, once this video is finished and IK Multimedia sees this, maybe we can talk to them about it. And yeah, I did watch Doug. So Paul's written here that Doug had it crashed in AUM. So it did crash a couple of times in AUM. Again, it's a first release, so you're going to get this kind of stuff. But Apple really have dropped the balls with their last few updates. So, and we'll go back to AUM for a moment because I want to show you this. This is what I did on my show on the other day. So we shall just add in here. Let's add vocal track. Let's add a guitar track. Let's add in interrupt audio. So what do we got? Let's just throw in for now something like that. Let's also add in, I'm just adding random stuff here. So let's just do 3 for now. Let's just have a look. Now when we add in MixBox, I'm going to add a bunch of instances of it. And I just want you to check out the usage. And one more. I should have prepared this earlier, yeah, but that's me. So we'll go into each one and add a preset. So for this vocal track, we'll go in and add vocals. We'll add an edgy vocal. Cool. So we've got a vocal here, over here. Now we'll head over to this one, which is the guitar. And we'll add in a vintage clean for the guitar. Now you'll see up here, the DSP is happening. So we've got, it's going up between 28 to 61. So there's a fair bit of movement there because we've got in each one, we are running a bunch of effects. So this will throw in, we'll throw in this bass sound, which was crashing, and hope for the best. And let's check out and make sure this is actually playing all nicey nice keyboard. Cool. So we've got that bass effect on there. That's all good. And even just, let's just randomly add something on here. That's it. It's taking a little bit of time to refresh. Let's just add like a pipe organ. And up here you can see that not much has changed with the actual CPU. So once you've got a whole bunch of them running here in AUM, it's averaging between like 23 up to 50. So it's bouncing back and forward. Okay, so in apps like this that can handle it, you're going to get better performance using the standalone. And I'm not going to go into Cubasis as well today. Maybe we can do another show on that once they do an update. How about we do that? So I'll make a promise to you. Once they do an update, we'll go in and have a little bit more of a look at it, okay, and see what the update is. Because, you know, they could already be in the process of updating it. But as you can see, like, the potential for this is really, really cool. My iPad's doing okay. It's doing okay, Thomas. Thomas says, if you listen closely, you can hear Jade's iPad softly crying. It's actually doing all right, you know, and the guitar's running effects as well, and the mic's running effects as well. So I think I had about 8 instances of it running in here, and it all seemed to be fine. I didn't have any crashes or anything in AUM, even as a standalone. The one thing I will tell you, which I didn't get to show you in GarageBand, remember when we opened it up as a standalone by itself, how across the top you had these 8 modules that you could add in. You had 8 by 8. You don't get that when you open it up in Cubasis, GarageBand, or in AUM. You just get one strip of 8. All right. Only when you're using it as a standalone is when you get those 8 patches across the top to add in another 8 effects from there. So that is something which I think they've done so people just don't overload the system, which is very clever, you know, because people will just overload the shit out of this stuff, and their experience will be shit. So that looks like a safeguard that IK Multimedia have put in place. Yeah. Alrighty. What are we going to do? So, man, I don't know what we should do about this giveaway, because how am I going to like decide how to do this? Do I just like scroll up and down, and then just where I stop and somebody wins? Or look, it's up to you guys. Would you like me to do a draw for this and then actually make it nice and fair, instead of me just kind of, I don't want to like make it look like I'm favoritism because I'm picking people's names out of the chat. So how about we do that? Because if you'll come along, it's a tough way to do it. So I've got 3 apps to give away. Actually, I've got 4 apps to give away. Let's close this out. So I have a copy of this, so MixBox, to give away. Yeah. Let's just make sure my mic's turned off. Good. So I have a copy of this to give away. I have a copy of AUM to give away. Okay. So I also have a copy of this, which I've got 2 copies of this I'm going to give away, called Riff Writer, which is a guitar riff writing thing. So you can actually randomly create guitar riffs just by hitting create. So and you can like change all the settings and change the difficulty, and you can like amp up the sound of what the guitarist, what kind of riffs you want, and then you hit create again. So what we'll do a draw. Fuck it. I know I said I would give it away in this show, but I want everybody to be fair. All right? I want it to be fair, and if I just pull somebody's name out of the chat, I don't want anybody to think I'm doing favoritism. Okay, so let's do it this way. Leave a comment on the video, all right, and let me know if out of these 3 apps there's one you already have. So leave a comment and tell me out of the 3 what you already have. So if you already have AUM, or you already have MixBox, or you already have this guitar riff writer, just put that in the comment and say, I already have this. I already have this. So not in the chat, in the comments at the end of this video once it goes live, and then we'll actually go ahead and draw it, most likely either tomorrow or Wednesday. So that's the way to do it. It's the fairest way to do it. Or paying to get. What are you going to do then? So you've got 2 and you don't want the 3rd. See, if I just pull a name out of the hat, this is what's going to be a mess. That's what's going to be crazy. So, but I'll monitor it. So just leave a comment on the video and just write, I have this, as your comment. Whatever you have, write it down. That can be your comment. You don't have to write anything else. Just, I already have this. I already have this. I already have this. All right. Just leave that as a comment, and we'll do that. That makes more sense than anything, because then I can do the random number generator. And I'm sorry if you thought, you know, because I wanted to try and give it away here, but let's just be fair, because I don't want to play favoritism. Cool. So What we'll also do, we'll get in contact with IK Multimedia. We'll see what's coming in an update. We'll do another show on this as we go. But I believe this is a game-changing idea. This app is possibly where we're heading in the future. Once they can iron out these little bugs, and once GarageBand can pull their fucking finger out, it should be a lot better. So Joshua Good says, just try it in Cubase and change the presets when it's playing. I don't get the crackly sound. So you're going to get a different kind of thing with each different app. All right. Look, you know what? Let's just be really fuck around here right now. Let's open Aurea. Yeah. I'm probably going to get a copyright claim for this. Right, so I told you at the start of the show, I imported an Aurea project onto my Mac into Logic and it worked. Well, I also exported a Logic project into Aurea. So I actually imported this. So the demo track of Billie Eilish's song that you get with Logic, I was able to import it into Aurea Pro. Yeah, how cool is that? So what we'll do is, let's just solo one of these tracks just as a final test so I don't get too much of a copyright claim. We'll go into the mix here. So we've got track 1. I'm going to go to effects. Let's add in IK Multimedia Mixbox and let's try adding this bass tone and see what it does in Aurea. Yeah? I'm saying yeah a lot today. That's really weird. Okay. So it hasn't fucked up in Aurea like it has in GarageBand. It hasn't fucked up in AUM. It hasn't fucked up in Aurea Pro. It's only fucking up in GarageBand. So there's a GarageBand issue, I think, possibly. So blaming this app is probably, yeah. Yes, Sion. On my Patreon, I did a video yesterday where I took an Aurea project, and so here's how you do it. You actually go in here, you choose AAF file, and you export it as a AAF file. It creates a folder with a project, and a AAF project, and all of the WAVs, and then you transfer it over to your Mac, and you can open it within Logic. And then in Logic, you can take a project in Logic and save that as a AAF file, and then import that over into Aurea. You can go both ways. Pretty cool, huh? If you want to join my Patreon, where I do all this crazy shit where I try and mess around and fuck with things, you can go over to my Patreon. There's a link in the description and join up because it's good times. We have these 2-hour like things where we just fuck around, tell jokes, stupid stories, and look at stuff. So yeah. All right, folks, that'll wrap it up today. Head over to the website, howtoapponIOS.com. Like the video, please. Thank you all. Thank you so much for all of the support and getting me to 1,000 subscribers. I can't thank you any more than I value all of you so very much. Thank you so very much. You can join the Patreon if you want. There's never any pressure or anything like that. Thank you to all of the developers who have supported me through all of this, and I hope your continued support will come. Please remember, leave a comment, and with your comment, tell me which apps you have, which means you won't go in the draw for that particular app. And either tomorrow or Wednesday, we will draw and we'll have some winners. So good luck. Thanks for being in the chat. We love you guys so much. You are the best. And uh-oh, I can hear it coming. I can hear it. It's the music. It's the music. It means I have to go. I have to go. But before I go, just remember to do what makes you